Uniper is a German-based utility company. It's one of the largest in Europe. It has a long history, over 100 years of history, and operates across Europe, Russia, and has global offices in Singapore, the Middle East, and the US. We are a part of Uniper. They are a shareholder. We operate out of Dubai, but sell marine fuel globally to the market. From that point of view, I think IMO is going to have a big impact on the market. Come January 21st, clearly the industry has to move away from 3.5% fuel oil to a 0.5. This is a big change for the industry, not only from the shipping industry, but from the logistics, the refining industry, that all have to prepare up ahead before January 1st to be available, to make sure product is available in the market. I think the industry is starting to prepare for itself, but there's a few challenges around managing that change out to ensure that shipping companies have confidence in the market to make sure that they have enough capacity and enough availability in various ports. And this is something that we as Uniper have been focusing on and have already started with the announcement we made today. We've shipped the largest volume of low sulphur marine fuel, so the 0.5 product has gone to Singapore, 152,000 tons, which is by far the largest shipment of low sulphur fuel oil. That will go into the Singapore market and start to be sold to the market there to prepare for IMO 2020. If we look at our whole supply chain, I think IMO 2020 is going to impact from the crude right through to availability in various ports. So at the moment we're focusing very much on crude sourcing for ensuring we've got enough diversity of crudes to meet the requirements for the ship owners. We're looking at how we process that, becoming more efficient, making sure our yields are sufficient, the efficiency of the unit is there, and we, not only from the fuels meeting environmental standards, but also the assets we have on the ground are meeting environmental standards and exceeding those standards. And that's very much at the forefront of Uniper's position, is making sure that we exceed those environmental standards wherever we operate. So from that point of view, we're then looking at additional storage for the build, for the change out, because as I mentioned, we're moving from a 3.5 market to a 0.5 sulphur in marine fuel. There's a lot of investment and a lot of activity around changing out into that market. We've taken additional storage in Fujairah and also in Singapore to meet that challenge, to manage that process and make sure that we're ready come the time when the ship companies want to start loading that product and be prepared for and compliant for IMO 2020. I think IMO 2020 is going to affect more than just oil prices. It's going to affect product prices across the board. But if we look at the oil price, clearly there's going to be a higher demand for heavy sweet barrels. And those heavy sweet barrels are going to be sought by a number of refiners who can process those crudes. There are some challenges around processing heavy crudes. So I think the differentials around those crudes, you'll see appreciation. We've already seen appreciation of those differentials, so those becoming slightly more expensive. Is IMO going to change the fundamentals around crude oil pricing? Well, I think there's bigger plays around that. You've got OPEC who see their role very much as managing crude oil prices globally, and I think they're doing a fantastic job of meeting those objectives, and I think they will continue to manage outright oil pricing. But we will see differentials on various grades of crude changing based on supply-demand dynamics. And then going through to the product pricing, I think you're going to see the economics moving from bottom of the barrel to the middle of the barrel for the shipping industry, as they're looking for those blend stocks to achieve the volume of low sulphur fuel oil, the 0.5 product that they need for the market. So I think you're going to see on both sides of the equation, on both sides of the refining system, changes in pricing. Yeah. I think LNG is definitely going to have its place. The timing and the implementation it needs to be considered regarding the investments required for the infrastructure to make LNG available, but also by the ship owners who have to invest in training of the staff, because LNG is a very different product. So you need engineers who are trained in LNG, you need the ship's capacity to consume LNG, so they need new tankage, new engines, new systems. So I think there's a lot of investment, big investment that needs to happen for LNG to take a more prominent role in the market. And I think what you'll see over the next decade, that growth building over the period. Now we as Uniper are very much involved in that story. We're very much part of the energy transition. So we're already setting up LNG facilities in Europe. We've got joint ventures around LNG bunkering, but also around LNG trucking. So we see LNG as a fuel for the future. At the moment we're in a transition stage, and that transition is a discussion, and IMO are grappling with that. Even today they have a meeting in London. So I think you're going to see some more news and target setting that's going to drive that behaviour.